If you are considering getting into 4K gaming, it's important that you understand your PC or console might not be your only limiting factor. In fact, it might even be more than your TV or monitor that's influencing how well your game or games will perform for you. And in today's video, I'm gonna take a look at something that's probably very rarely thought of, but might be impacting your performance much more than you think. And spoiler alert, it's probably one of the cheapest parts of your PC setup. Now, before we get to that specific product, I do want to tell you what computer I will be running in this test today. So behind me, I have a Ryzen 5 9600X, 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM, and a powerful Radeon RX 9070 XT. It is not the highest and most expensive graphics card, but it is definitely up there and it is capable of 4K gaming. Now, for the monitor, there is a problem that you guys maybe have figured out from the thumbnail and the title. Behind you guys, I have a 1080p monitor, obviously won't run 4K. Behind me is my beloved 1440p monitor, won't run 4K. So I think we might have to have a change of scenery so that we can accurately run this test. I think that this will probably suit our needs just a little better than what we had in the other options. So this behind me right here is a 75-inch TCL 4K 120 Hertz TV. This should handle our 4K gaming no problem. The objective of this video today is to pair this PC with the 9070 XT to this 4K TV behind me, and we're going to do that through an HDMI cable. Now, a company known as Silkland, let me show you guys a little closer here, was kind enough to send us an HDMI cable, and we actually have a DisplayPort on the way as well, a DisplayPort cable. Now, if you've watched this channel before, you probably know that I never settle with just one product or just one review or looking at one specific thing. I kind of always like to compare and contrast to see how it compares to other products in the market, whether it's a graphics card, a processor, or today, an HDMI cable. So we also have this Securomax HDMI cable that I bought who knows how long ago, probably like $10, $15. I think it's about the same length. It's a 6-foot cable or so. And then yesterday I picked up this Philips HDMI 4K at 60 Hertz cable for $9.99. Now, I do want to read you guys some notes because I want to make sure that I get this correct on the Silkland product here. So this particular cable is the Silkland certified HDMI 2.1 cable. It is 4K compatible at 240 Hertz, which is pretty crazy. And it does go all the way up to 8K at 60 Hertz, but honestly, I don't even know what 8K is. So good for them. And it just so happens to fall into 1% of HDMI cables that was certified at a 2.1 HDMI certification. So obviously that means something in comparison. And it does come in at $9.99. Now, I don't want to just plug these in and see how it performs. There are some other things that I consider when I'm looking at an HDMI cable that either make or break or potentially drive me crazy. So I'm going to be doing 3 different things in today's test with all 3 of these cables to ensure that I am purchasing the best cable and that I'm also getting the best performance, because as I mentioned, these don't cost a lot, but we might find out here that perhaps they are influencing and impacting how we're gaming. And if it's a good or bad impact, you obviously want to buy the right product. So today, there's one thing that always drives me crazy whenever you're buying any kind of cable. When things don't plug in well to the end of a computer or a TV or whatever, you guys might know what I'm talking about. You go to plug it in and it's kind of loose and feels like it could fall out. That is going to be a test that we're going to do with all of these. So how well does it plug into the TV? How well does it plug into the PC? Does it feel like it might come out? The other thing we do want to look at is how does it perform for a 4K gaming experience on a 4K TV? So we are going to pair these cables with 3 different games each and run through them and see, are we going to be able to push the settings as far as we can that this graphics card can handle? Will there be any kind of delay or latency? Will we see maybe discoloration on the screen, maybe like a black screen or flickering? And if there is there a difference from cable to cable? Now the last test is durability. So when we get the chance to open these up, I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts on the quality, you know, how well it looks or how rough it feels, if it feels like it's gonna hold out. And then also, at the end, when we get to the last game for each of these, I'm actually gonna throw the cables on the ground and stomp on them, because let's be honest, if you're like me, you probably have cables that just sit in a box or your kids got a hold of, or maybe you left out and your dog chewed on or something. So like I want to simulate a sped up timeline of wear and tear on them. Now obviously I'm not going to jump on the ends here, and I'm not going to go too ham on it, but I do want to see if perhaps we step on them or, you know, kind of create some resistance to their quality. Is it going to degrade them really quickly? Because that matters. If you're buying a cable, you expect it to last for 5 or 10 years. So we're going to test out 3 different games on all of these cables today. We're going to go with Space Marines 2, Cyberpunk 2077, and then also Black Myth Wukong to, again, test if those cables are capable of 4K gaming and how far we can actually push them. So first up, we're going to go with our Silkland product. I'm going to pull it out of the bag real quick here, give it a quick inspection. Okay, this is an interesting braid. It feels much tighter. So I have this Securomax over here that I mentioned to you guys. This is braided, but it feels like it's almost kind of loose and like some of the ends might come out, but this is very, very tight. And also I do want to mention to you guys, they have given me an affiliate link if this is interesting and you know, it seems like something you guys want to purchase, but honestly, I'm not going to put that in this video until I've gone through and reviewed this and actually feel like this is a quality product. So Silkland, if you guys sent me junk, I'm not going to include that. So sorry in advance. But let's go ahead and take the twist ties off and we'll go through the plug test. I'll skip through this part for you guys. All right, so we have everything all taken off, all the twist ties off. It says HDMI 8K on it, so we're gonna go ahead and plug this in. All right, so let's go ahead and go into the graphics card real quick. I don't know if it's my graphics card or if it's the cable, but it feels kind of loose back there. Now make sure I plug into the right one on the TV. Oh, not loving that. Yeah, that one feels kind of loose too. I don't know, maybe that's just me though. I'm not giving it super high ratings, but we'll see how it compares to the other two because it didn't feel super stable, but that could just be because I hate all cables. So let's go ahead and load up our Space Marines 2 and see how it handles the 4K gaming. All right, you guys, so we do have the Silkland cable plugged in. We are running Space Marine 2. I have all of the PC information up here so you can see the frames, the temperature of the GPU, the utilization, all that kind of stuff, how much VRAM we're using. That will be an interesting one because I've never gamed on 4K before. So let me go ahead and sit down and I'll run through these settings with you guys real quick. So we are running obviously on 4K. We're running native, not gonna do any upscaling. FSR is enabled, no frame gen. We have everything else set to, wow, it's letting me go to high. Some things are on medium, some things are on high. But yeah, let's go ahead and try this out. I think we're gonna run through a little bit of this part. Wow, look at the ray tracing on his suit. Holy cow, this looks so good. I've never played in 4K before. Okay, so we're in actual gameplay now. 80 FPS, but like, look at the quality of this. This is insane. I've never played this game either, by the way, guys. I had a viewer request this game, but these graphics are nuts. We're only using 10 gigs of VRAM, 60 FPS. This is super playable. The lighting is, look at his shoulder, you guys. That looks so cool. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. I'm gonna up it real quick. Like I said, we're not gonna spend too much time in each game on all of them. But let me go ahead and try to do the presets up to Ultra and see then if I know we're gonna probably drop FPS. Man, it looks better already. That's crazy. Look how realistic it looks. Yeah, I don't want to interact with that one yet. Okay, so I am not seeing anything. I'm gonna go ahead and swap over to the Philips HDMI cable and we're gonna see if that can push as hard. I'm gonna drop the settings back down to the medium real quick. That way we that way it's fair and it starts out there as well. So or the high. So let me go ahead and pause you guys, and then I'm gonna swap over to the Philips cable, and we're gonna talk about how all that one plugs in as well. All right, guys, so we have the Philips HDMI cable here. I will say that this one has that feel of like the looser braid. So I am gonna go for quality so far. That the Silkland does feel the highest quality, just as far as like the cable itself. But again, I mean, there could be like the bending factor and all that. So I don't know, but just first impressions, I'm gonna go ahead and plug this one in and let you guys know how it feels. Now I will tell you guys that unplugging the Silkland cable was a lot harder than it was plugging it in. So it did feel like it was a lot more snug, and then I wasn't worried about it falling out. So perhaps I should retract the statement from earlier, but let's go ahead and plug in this Philips. Yeah, same feeling. It's the same feeling that I got earlier. So perhaps it's just me that's really picky. Let's go ahead and plug into the TV now. No, this one feels even looser. No, I take it back. The Silkland one did feel more tight. This one is kind of jiggling in here a little. Yeah, yep. I take it back. The Silkland one did feel better. I guess I just hate all cables, but the Philips one does. And I know, again, this is a sponsored video, but I just want to be honest with you guys and let you know, like, that one does feel a little worse. Now, when I unplug it, it might feel just as tight. In fact, hold on. Let me go back and plug this in real quick. I want to try one more time just to plug this in because I've got them both here. If this one jiggles and moves around a little, also you guys are probably terrified when I... Nah, they both jiggle. They both jiggle. But this Silkland one is really hard to get out, so that is a positive sign to me. Let's go ahead and run this Philips cable and see, you know, if there's any difference, if we're getting the same FPS, if there's any problems, just all that kind of stuff. Weren't we getting slightly higher FPS before? Let's go ahead and walk back through here. I feel like we were getting closer to the 80 FPS on the Silkland. Am I crazy, guys? Am I gonna have to go back and watch that? It also doesn't look as sharp. Interesting. I'm gonna need to plug it back in to compare. Yeah, I mean 60, 70. I don't know, it's hard to tell. Maybe it does look the same. Maybe it does look the same. Maybe I'm just losing my mind. I don't know. Let's go ahead and go up to the Ultra preset and you know, see if it'll let me play at that, if there's gonna be any issues. Oh, no, we're good. Guys, I think there is a limitation. That other cable was 120. The Silkland is 120 hertz at 4K. This one's only 60, and I don't think it looks as clean. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna unplug this cable real quick. I'm gonna fast forward through that. I'm gonna go back to the Silkland. We're gonna look at this exact same scene, and I wanna see if there's a major difference. Okay, so the Silkland is in now. Yeah, guys, I think you can tell. I think there is significantly finer detail. I don't think we're getting like a lot higher FPS, but it does seem like there's more like pixels than it is. It does seem higher quality. I don't think it's influencing the FPS at all, but I do think that it is showing a clearer, cleaner picture. So, yeah, that's really interesting. Let me go ahead and plug in the last cable, which I don't even know the specs of that, and we'll do the the plug-in test and all that as well. But I'm also just really impressed with Space Marine 2 here. So, all right, guys, now we have our Securomax HDMI cable. As I mentioned, this one's just really old. The braid is kind of starting to feel like it's falling apart, that I might have some frays in here soon. But I did want to test it just so that we could have 3 to compare with. Some junk on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in, give you guys the feel for it. So far, I will be honest, I don't think that there's been a superiority in the plug-in feeling of any of them. They all still feel a little loose. That could just be me. But quality-wise, I think the Silkland does have the cleanest braid. I don't know about bending or all of that. So we'll kind of get to that when we step on it and do the durability test. So Securomax, we're gonna plug that one in. Oh, that one feels the worst. Could be because it's so used and old, but that one definitely feels the worst so far. Try and get this in here. Yep, that one's definitely the worst. Now, I will tell you, I did go back and look. You can clearly see on the Silkland cable with Space Marine 2 here, the lighting was better. There was more clarity on the characters. The pixelation seemed cleaner. I'm gonna look at it on this one. I have a feeling just looking at it now, though, it's going to be, I don't know, it's hard to tell. Let's go look. I also forgot to put this on low to start. No, sitting back here, immediately I can tell. So this is on the ultra setting. Let's go back to the, let's go back down. And I'm gonna walk around a little bit and make sure the cable doesn't like crash or anything like that. But we'll come back to this same spot. So 60, 70-ish FPS. So everything seems to be the same FPS wise. I think there is a clear difference here in the quality though, you guys. Like, I don't know. I just feel like there is a limiting factor of the cable, which is wild. And here's the thing is like, if you're just wanting a cable to game in 4K, I would pick any of these. But if you're the kind of person that like is trying to absolutely max out the graphics, in Space Marine 2 at least, all right, let's go back over here. I'll try to get in the same spot. What was it, right here? Come on, turn this way. This way, buddy. Turn this way. There we go. Yeah, I don't think that quality is as high, guys. The lighting doesn't look good. It looks a lot more flat. I know that they sent me over as a sponsored video, but the Silkland is winning for me so far. So let's go ahead and switch over. We're gonna swap out to Cyberpunk and see if we can notice a difference there as well. All right, guys, so now we have Cyberpunk loaded up. We are on the Silkland cable. We're gonna keep that order, Silkland, Philips, and then the Securomax. We're gonna check it out. I'll show you the settings, and we'll get a little bit of gameplay in here to see what the FPS looks like, if there's any kind of flickering, if we can notice, again, the details and differences of the cables. So first impression, I have never played Cyberpunk in my life. I loaded the game up earlier to get it, just so I could get past like the story and cinematics and stuff so I could actually play for you guys. But the difference between that on a 1440p monitor and a 4K monitor is insane. Oh yeah, let me show you the settings here real quick. So we're gonna run ray tracing low, and then we're gonna go up to as high as possible. We're gonna try to max it out to see if we can probably cause some problems. We'll turn all this stuff on. Path tracing is off. Crowd density doesn't matter. But we'll try to keep everything consistent. So high, ultra, but we're still pulling a really solid FPS. So let me go ahead and open the trunk for this guy. It looks amazing, guys. 100 FPS. I can't believe I'm also only using 7 gigs of VRAM. Look how good this looks, you guys. Holy cow. And there's like literally no latency or delay. There's no flickering. I can't believe a 9070 XT can game this well. Like all right, I'm gonna swap everything over to as high as I can possibly get it to go and see if we can cause some problem. So ray tracing ultra, what is this? Super resolution 3.0? I don't know what that does. No frame gen. Ray trace on, ultra, psycho. Let's turn path tracing on. Path tracing. What else can I change up here? No. Oh, it's already at high as high, ultra, 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 ultra high. Okay, let's apply this and see if we immediately like start having problems or, oh my gosh. I mean, we dropped down to 45 FPS, but the game looks so good. Look at that sunlight. Woo. I'm gonna drive around a little bit and see if like I notice like any problems or. I know that most people do this in the city and stuff, and that's probably where like they see like the most. Again, I've never played like Cyberpunk, so I just loaded up whatever I could. Wow, I stink at driving. Okay, I feel like that's a good spot. Let's go ahead and switch over to the Philips cable and see if we notice a difference. I'm gonna drop everything down really quick before we do that though, just because I wanna make sure we are okay. I think that should have turned everything off. Yeah, yep, okay. Cool, I'm gonna swap over the cables. Philips cable in and secured. So we're back on the lower settings, and I feel like I can tell a difference. It's hard to know without looking side by side. Man, it's so cool though just to see those, like you can see the cactus shadow there. I don't know if it's because we just came off of Ultra, but it does feel like it's a little more like lower quality. I'm gonna go ahead and just up it really quick because I wanna see Ultra, path tracing, everything. Let's turn on path tracing, apply. Yeah, I may be biased because they sponsored me for this, but I feel like we're having lighting differences between the higher end Silkland cable and all the other cables, which again, I just went and bought whatever generic cable I could find at Target and picked up an HDMI cable I had at my house. I mean, it still looks amazing. But I feel like it's a better experience with the Silkland cable. Let's drive around. I mean, we're still getting about the same FPS. I don't think that's really changed. It's so hard to tell. It's so hard, you guys. It's so hard to immediately tell. Like, I don't know. I think there is a difference. I think you could notice it, but I don't think it's like so massive that it's, maybe it is, and I don't know. I'm gonna swap to the other cable, the Securomax. Let's lower the settings down real quick. This is really interesting to me because I don't know what to expect when I do these tests. And sometimes they make a difference and sometimes they don't. So I'm gonna go swap to that other cable real fast. Okay, Securomax cable is in. Yeah, I feel, yep, I don't know if it's because the time of the day is changing and that's potentially influencing it, but I feel like the quality is lower on this. I know we just lowered the settings, but let me go ahead and max them up again. Turn path tracing on. Oh wait, right? Oh, okay. Yes, you guys can see it. It does not look as good. It doesn't. It really does not look as good. That's wild. So before you could see those mountains and there was a lot more detail, but now they look like kind of clumpy. Holy cow. Is there actually a difference in a $10 product? Between the Philips and the Silkland, like the difference was enough that you could probably tell, but this is clear. And I'm aware that the time of the day is making a difference on this and it's probably changing like how I feel. Yeah, guys, I don't think it's as good. Okay, cool. Well, let's go ahead and jump over to our last game, Black Myth Wukong, and then at the very end of each one of those, before we stop using the cable, I'll do the stomp test and check the durability and see if it makes any difference. All right, guys, so I decided that instead of waiting until we've started playing, I feel like you can already tell there's a difference, and you guys can argue with me in the comments if you want, but I wanted to go ahead and just do the durability test now. So I am gonna put this on the ground. I'm gonna jump around a little on it. Don't worry, I'm not gonna step on this end, but I do wanna see, like, if you throw these things in boxes, your kids get a hold of them, you're moving, something like that, like, I wanna simulate speeding up that wear and tear and notice if it makes a difference, because obviously the Securomax I've had for a lot longer, so maybe it's just degraded over time. So here we go. Silkland, sorry about your products, but it is what it is. Just kind of stomping around on it here. And hopefully people don't flame me in the comments for being a dummy. But if it's a good quality product, I feel like that should not have mattered. It is definitely dirtier now. Let's go ahead and plug it in and load up Black Myth Wukong. All right, guys, we are in Black Myth Wukong now. I'll show you the settings. This is also probably the worst game to run with an AMD card, but it's what you guys voted for. So we have the super resolution set at 50. Ray tracing is on low, everything else is set to high. We're gonna test this for just a minute, and then we're gonna try to max out everything at the 50 resolution, just because any more than that, I don't think the game will run. But so I benchmarked this a lot on a 1440p monitor, and I'm not really seeing, maybe it does look better. It does look cool, but yeah, I'm not, so this is after stomping on it, by the way. No latency, doesn't seem like we're having any problems. I can't really tell if the colors look good in this or better or about the same. Let's go ahead and turn up the settings though. Now, again, this is not the best game in the world for this type of testing, because Wukong just really does not run well on these AMD cards. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, see, we already pushed past what it'll handle. 24 FPS, lot of motion blur. So this one's not gonna get a good indication of like if these cards will, or the cables will just absolutely like ruin the experience, because this game is just tough to run in general. I am still floored that like we're only using 9 gigs of VRAM at the moment. Let's go ahead here and drop the settings down. We'll swap over to the Philips. I'll stomp on that thing for you guys, and we'll test that one to see if it's the same quality as this. I have to imagine Black Myth Wukong is not going to be affected a whole lot. Philips HDMI cable, as I mentioned, we're just going to throw it on the ground, jump on it again, not step on these parts because that would be really stupid, and probably I am dumb as it is, but I'm not that dumb. So here we go. Put it down on the ground, step on it, give it some good old wear and tear. Pretend this is my 2-year-old toddler because she destroys everything. You guys could probably see some of her toys, or have seen some of her toys in this video. All right, that seems good. Let's go ahead and plug it in. That one got less dirty, but I think it's just because the other cable is purely black. That could be something important to note. Silkland is purely black, but I mean, it'll just come off, so it's not bad. So, all right, Philips HDMI cable is in. We're on the same settings. I don't expect to see anything. Oh, wait, well, hold on. It's running okay. It's running pretty smooth, but it does feel like, nah, that's just the Black Myth Wukong, the hair thing. Now that we're on a 75-inch screen TV, you guys can probably see that better. Yeah, nothing there, nothing that I'd write home about. Let's see if perhaps when we up it to the same settings that we had on the Silkland cable, if for some reason it responds even worse. You know, what were we getting, like 24 FPS? It was pretty slow. Yeah, it's, ow. It might be worse on this, but I can't really make that claim because it might look worse, honestly, but I can't really make that claim because I think this is just Wukong in general on AMD cards, which is really sad because these cards are awesome. I've never played Cyberpunk or Space Marine, and both those games looked amazing on 4K. So let's go ahead and swap over to the Securomax. I don't think we're going to see much of a difference, but it could be possibly worse than these two. So we have the Securomax HDMI cable. This is already pretty warm, but just for the fun of it, we're going to stomp on it anyway. So here we go. Pretend again that it's my toddler, my 2-year-old destroying it, or my son that will be coming in May. He gets a hold of it and starts chewing on it, or if you guys have a dog or a cat, something like that. Cool. That feels good. Yeah, so these oh yeah, you guys can even see here where I was talking about like it's fraying. Oh, I might have just caused it to fray a lot more. Interesting to note. So the Silkland did come ahead there. The Silkland and the Philips both, probably because they're newer maybe, did not fray, and this one is starting to. So that could be something for the durability. Okay, the Securomax is in. I forgot to lower the settings, so let's do that really quick so that I can have at least a relatively fair comparison. Oh, wait, I want ray tracing on low. high settings. It's really, I am really sad because Wukong looks so good, but on an AMD card, it's just not great. Yeah, so as I figured, probably nothing major. It seems to be performing about the same way on those initial settings. We'll throw it on the max settings and see if there's any kind of difference, but I have a feeling we're probably not going to notice anything because this is just not an optimized game for AMD cards. Which does make me kind of want to get a 5080 or a 5090, but those are really expensive and who knows. What the heck? Oh, this is not responsive at all. This might be worse. It's hard to tell. Yeah, it's tough to tell. Let's go ahead and close up the video. I'll give you guys my final thoughts. I gotta be honest with you guys. I came into this video kind of skeptical because I assumed that there probably wasn't gonna be much of a difference, or, you know, at $10, maybe $15 of a price point for something, I just figured it's all relatively the same, but I think there is a discernible difference, especially if you're someone that's looking to max things out. Like if you had a 9800X3D or even a 9850X3D or a high processing Intel, you know, card, or not card, but CPU, paired with an even better GPU, like a 5080 or a 5090 or a 4090, like I really think that that cable would start to show through. This was on a 9070XT, which is, again, an amazing card. I can't believe that it could accomplish the things that it's doing back here behind me. But if you're like truly min-maxing, I would personally buy the Silkland. If it's the same price as the Philips, it's 4K at 120 hertz opposed to 4K at 60 hertz. And I think we did notice a lighting difference. The fact that there was just more like vividness and clarity in the colors. It didn't seem bad on the Philips, but if they're the same price or even just slightly more, if you're really into graphics, I think you're gonna notice an overall improvements. So I am gonna include that affiliate link if you guys wanna purchase it, you know, and support the channel and buy the product, because I thought it went well. I would still recommend the Philips, but I think the Silkland was better. So good for you, Silkland, for sending me a product that worked. Hopefully you guys don't hate me for stepping on your cable. I do want to remind you guys that I do have a newsletter where I update you of future upcoming content and give you guys a say in the video. I try to be really active with my community, which is why I benchmarked Cyberpunk and Space Marine, two games I've never played, because I put out a poll and asked the community what they'd like to see. So check that out. There is a free version. There is also a paid version where if you are on the paid model, you can actually potentially win a gaming PC in June. I will have that linked in the description. You can look at the details further on that. Otherwise, if you guys enjoyed this video, I would encourage you to check out my other content. I do all kinds of wacky things where I test GPUs against other GPUs, or I take a 12-year-old computer and I try to upgrade it and see how far we can push it. I try my hardest to be unique and creative, and that's a thing for me, is I really enjoy being creative in the process of coming up with these things. And sometimes it does absolutely nothing. Sometimes my videos are pointless and I find out that a 3080 and a 9070 XT really aren't that different, or things like this where there's just a subtle difference, and it's kind of cool to see that. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Consider checking out some of this other content, and I will catch you in the next video.